All right, welcome back. So now that we know a few common pathogens that cause us to, catch specific diseases, now we're going to shift our discussion to how diseases are actually spread. And so this has become important in recent days because of this idea of social distancing, right? So maintain that 6 foot space between you and another individual. So there are three main ways in which diseases are spread. The first, and again, what we're trying to avoid with the whole idea of social distancing, is to avoid physical contact with other people. This includes both direct contact, so touching or sexual contact, but also indirect contact. This includes things like coughing, sneezing. So pathogens are often carried through the air and land on others or land on objects that are then touched by others. Contaminated food and water is another common way that diseases can spread. Bacteria can grow on food, and the process of cooking or heating it up kills that bacteria. And so that's why undercooked chicken or other types of meat are particularly dangerous because they have a tendency to grow specific types of bacteria like Salmonella E. coli. Water can also contain specific types of bacteria, also protists and other pathogens as well. And in order to kill this bacteria, does anyone know what you should do if you're not sure if water is particularly clean or not? We usually recommend in that particular circumstance boiling water before you actually drink it. And so boiling water, kind of the same idea of cooking food fully, boiling or heating it up to a high temperature often kills those pathogens that may be present in the water. And the third common way in which diseases are spread is through infected animals or insects. And so oftentimes, animals that carry specific pathogens and have the ability to pass them to you or others are often called, in the scientific term, a vector. And so some common examples here are malaria and West Nile being carried by mosquitoes. So in that case, the mosquito would be the vector of malaria and West Nile virus. Obviously, we know about rabies that can be carried by a number of animals. Lyme disease, so you see here, let me get my laser pointer. You see here a target-shaped rash, which is indicative of Lyme disease, and we get Lyme disease from a tick bite. And so in this case, the tick would be the vector for this particular disease. So it carries this disease and it can give it to you when it bites you. So now we know some very common mechanisms for how specific diseases are spread. These include physical contact, including direct and indirect contact, contaminated food and water supplies, or infected animals in the form of vectors that carry specific diseases that can pass them on to you. And now, in the next section, we're going to learn how our bodies actually respond to these particular pathogens, right? How our bodies combat all of these pathogens that are trying to invade our bodies and make us sick.